I'm going to ask all five of you here. What do you think, as a campus, the single thing we need to do to increase our ability to do translational medicine? There's a lot of people here. Some are in finance, some are administration. So I think no host bar. Tsukichi is here. He can change the system. What can we do to increase one thing from each one of you that would change and increase translational medicine?
No, you cannot ask somebody that just arrived here 3 months ago to give you an advice. I think it's a little bit unfair. But, okay, well, let's say from the 7 years that I've been here in Singapore, generally speaking, I think a little bit more of sense of adventure on trying new therapy when I'm talking with the clinicians, it would be nice. But again, I mean, there are definitely also clinicians that are interested to try. When I'm saying try, is that, we can do a lot of good experiment in vitro, we can do a lot of good experiment in animal models, but still when you're trying something that is a completely new therapy, there is a certain level of risk that you cannot avoid. And so, I mean, we should probably, let's say, help the clinician to understand that, yes, there is a risk, but there is also good rationale. And perhaps on the other side, there might be a little bit more willingness to try what could fail.
So the ability for a lot of our colleagues here to be willing to try the new therapies that you and other people would be able to.
And don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah, okay. Carl, what are your thoughts? What should we do to increase the level of translational medicine research in this campus?
I have been here for 13 months. In Singapore. So I'm a clinician working across the street where we don't have patients. We are dealing with research questions that require close collaboration with clinicians. And we need to be able to work with the clinicians, we need to be able to get samples from patients, and normal tissues and diseased tissues, and generate cells from patients. And I have encountered enormous barriers across the street, College Road. And I think it has to do a lot with what has been mentioned here before, that the clinicians, they don't really have time for research. They don't have a lot of course, most of them are treating patients, and that's what they should do. But there should also be possibilities for the clinicians to spend a lot of their time on research questions and things like that. I have worked in 3 other countries as a researcher, medical researcher, and I have never seen so many problems as here. I think it's very sad, but I think it's an easy thing to deal with, but somehow the organization is completely screwed.
Okay, so I think those kind of questions, I think Tsukichi can handle that eventually. Okay, well, Mike, what do you think we need to do?
I think you're baiting me to talk a little bit about the sort of hurdles I had to overcome to get to this place in life. And I will answer it in a hopefully creative way. And my challenge is because many of you in the audience actually support directly or indirectly research operations. Think about it this way. Ike and I are natives, but the 3 gentlemen, who are here sharing the podium with us are some of the best talent you can attract, and they come from overseas. And why did they come here? It's because of the opportunity. I mean, this kind of brain trust is not easy to assemble. And some of you, the awardees who are standing up here, are very talented in your own right, and you will be the future stars. Now, what can we as a community do to enable people to continue to succeed? I think one of the challenges in Singapore we face is this notion of Schadenfreude, which is, if you succeed, maybe it does reflect badly on me or something like that, and you sort of feel that you know, things should follow a particular thing, a pathway and such. But really think about it, the opportunities for yourself, for your children, are dependent on disruptive innovation, which these, well, we sort of freaks, if you like, you know, can bring. And the more you facilitate what we do well, the more we are able to perform and deliver and eventually enrich, you know, yourselves and your families. So if you think about it this way and think these guys are, you know, they think different, but they may be difficult to work with. But those are the characteristics of disruptive people who do make a difference. If you remember, you know, any ad about creativity, you'll notice that the people who make a difference are you know, they're not the regular guy. You know, they'll say, why can't I do this? Why can't I bring this sample in? You know, why? And you say, but that's the rules. So, you know, the thing is, there are rules, but you all have brains. So you can figure out ways you can help us. And, you know, honestly, it's in our hearts to really perform. I mean, you have people here who are willing to drive past ridiculous obstacles. So to help you make a difference, help us. And believe me, everyone will be happier.
Okay. So I think those are extremely wise words for a lot of people here who are saying they're not following the protocol. You know, it's you know, we need to look at the legal aspects. Maybe there's a reputational risk. But I think, you know, what Mike is saying is that, you know, if you want to design the iPhone, you got to be as mad as Steve Jobs, essentially, right? That's what you need to do, and you need to break down all the different rules there is. So that's, Selva, what are your thoughts? I mean, what do we need to do?
Can I say two things or just one? Come on, man. Be nice to me.
For you, two things.
Okay, first a comment to those whiners who say that they are here from little time. I started July 1st. So two things. First, finally, the occasion of getting even with the Kichi, because he kept stealing my comparison of Singapore as Florence Renaissance. So now I'm going to steal his suggestion, which I heard several times, on how we could reverse the translation itinerary. We typically think of translational medicine as an itinerary from bench to bedside. This is the trite motto. And in reality, I think that the real way of involving you as principal actors, as protagonists of the scene, is to reverse this gradient, to harness technology to the unmet medical needs which inspire our work and which we see every day. This is a Copernican revolution, if you will, where the sun does not rotate around the Earth anymore, because maybe we are not the sun. And I think it's probably a deep, maybe definitive solution to the issue of motivation, what is it for me, and is it too risky, or is it too boring? So I think this is the suggestion number one. Suggestion number, this will take a lot of time and a lot of us, but I think it's an objective to look at, which is a very important one, because it can make a difference way beyond the boundaries of Singapore. The second one is much more pragmatic. Do merge with Duke and US, period.
Okay, that's good. EK?
I'm much less philosophical than the other stars. But I would say that if there's one thing I want to tell Prof. Su and Prof. Wong here, and also Prof. I.B. Ng, will be that carve out a big portion of money, invest in software, which is your young people. Now, I'm not talking about MOH has been talking about creating this number. Cluster is obsessed with trying to match the number, trying to reach the number of clinician scientists we're going to train. We're trying to improve the system. Yeah, by and large, these are good, but these are not as important as investing in. When instead of investing in your own people, the software would be that, for example, right now, in my opinion, we are artificially trying to generate clinician scientists. So we are trying to create a system and enticing people. Why should this be the way, correct? Because as the direct or indirect point from Mike's talk earlier was that I think that if you invest in a small group of people, and if they are interested enough, they are good enough, it doesn't matter what system they are in. So what I'm saying is that instead of getting obsessed with 100, 150, 200, 300, we identify, all right, within our hospital, our cluster, good people whom we think that have the potential, are driven enough. We look after them in a special way. All right, we can look after them even outside the system. So it's for us to think, all right, how we can look after this group of people, because you know that, speaking, in fact, whether it's local stars or foreign stars, you put them in any system, by and large, they will succeed. So this is the point I'm trying to make.